Picture this. You get married to the man of your dreams, and before you know it, you're pregnant. Congratulations. Welcome to the Motherhood vlog. I am Perpetua Fasanmi-Peter. Thank you for joining me today. It's the very first episode, and on this episode, I'll be talking about my story. My journey as a first-time mom, or let's say, yeah, my journey as a first-time mom, basically. So today we're looking at we are expectant. I'm saying we're expectant because I'm not alone on this vlog. My husband is right here with me. Say hello.
Hello.
The story of how we reacted to the pregnancy news and how we got to know that we were expecting. Okay, so I'm going to start from the very beginning, and that's the fact that we got married, and just a few days, a week or two before we got married, my husband was transferred from Ibadan to Lagos. So that meant he had to resume almost immediately because he was told to resume the next week, like with immediate effect. So he had to move to Lagos like 2-3 days after we got married. And then for me, I was still in Ibadan, but then I knew I was going to, go join him in Lagos. So at a point, I think a month and a week later, that's after we got married, I had to leave Ibadan. I had to resign from work. I left Ibadan and I joined him in Lagos. And so for us, because I mean that was a big deal, leaving your job, job security and all of that, leaving all that you've built in Ibadan as a broadcaster. Beg your pardon. I had to leave all of that and come down to Lagos. So we had to agree, and it wasn't. We didn't even. It wasn't even a debate. It was just the fact that he liked the fact that I loved what I was doing. He wanted me to continue, and the consensus was that my career was very important to both of us. And so we're just like, okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to avoid. Yeah, I mean, babies are not the thing for now. We need you to get a job. We need to settle down. We need you to, just get your career moving. And I was really doing a good job at that. Within the few months, I was in Lagos and I wasn't with pregnancy. Okay, so that was the plan. So I had to download an app. With the app, I was tracking my ovulation period. So I needed to ensure that I avoided the unsafe period. But then I don't know what happened. There was a particular month, for whatever reason, I didn't remember to consult my calendar. Baby, tell me, did it occur to you that I didn't consult my calendar? Did you keep quiet or you forgot to?
Yeah. I wanted the best for your career, and I wanted to plan everything to ensure that your career plan was not interrupted. But what will I do? God's will is the supreme. He's supreme in this case.
He said it was not intentional, so it wasn't like, hey, my wife has forgotten, let me quickly. He wasn't even thinking about it. I mean, that was my own headache. That was my business. It was like my responsibility.
See how you are twisting now.
I'm not twisting. Okay. Well, I mean, it was my period, so of course I should know more about it. I should keep track, right?
It's our responsibility.
Okay, so
all God has joined together.
No man, not even ovulation can put us on. All right, so that was that. And fast forward to January, I had to anchor some events in Ibadan, 2 events back to back, 3rd and 4th. So I had to be in Ibadan, and I had to return 5th. But then I was expecting my period between 3rd and 5th, but somehow I wanted to say on what? No, but somehow that didn't happen. So I had to call my husband, like, babes, how? I don't know what's happening. I mean, I was supposed to have this thing 3rd and 5th, 3rd to 5th, but nothing is happening. So I just concluded that when I get back to Lagos, I'll take the test. I go back to Lagos that day, and then I did the tests, and I saw 2 lines. I was shocked. Like, I didn't believe it. Like, how? It felt like, Perpetua, you are pregnant. It didn't sink immediately. I didn't get it. Like, okay, I am pregnant. It felt like fairy tale. I don't know. It felt like I don't know what to call it. And at that moment, I really had no reason for, no serious reason for the way I felt. It was just a matter of, I wasn't expecting it. I had plans for 2020. You know, I wanted to do this. I had put some of those plans. I had set some of them in motion, and the other ones I was waiting for time to unfold, unveil, and walk into some of them. But you know, I told hubby, and he was like, ah, I can't even describe. Maybe he should be the one to describe. Maybe how did you feel?
Okay. Initially, it didn't really sink. I was
Yeah.
actually coming. I mean, I was trying to um, come to the reality, and I must confess that for the first few hours, I was not really, I mean, coming to terms. I mean, to the reality of the new journey. I think when I slept and I woke up the following day, I said, "Wow, this a new reality." And you know, as a man, I started planning for the new journey. You know, as I, in fact, even before I even told you, or we even discussed uh, really about it, I have started thinking about the hospital. I've started thinking about the safety aspect of it. That okay, it would be nice you being the only person in the house. I started looking at the possibility of having one of your siblings around, and among so many other things.
When I came to the realization of what I was into was when I fell ill. At that point, I could almost say that, duh, I'll be able to do anything. I can still go for my events. I can still do one or two things. But then it just continued. I started feeling, feeling some of the symptoms of pregnancy.
I have something to say about that. I didn't have something to say because I could remember when you told me, okay, when we did the test
Okay.
and the result came out,
Okay.
yeah, it became, I mean, obvious. It became a reality that yes, we are pregnant. We have to start the new journey. Just before I knew what was going on, 2 days later, my babe started vomiting. She started spitting everywhere. I said, wait, oh, she she was not doing all these things before she and I like when we did the test, we were 5 weeks pregnant, right?
Yeah, I was already 5 weeks gone.
So I was now wondering that these things were not there before we did the test. So was she faking it? Was she trying to get my attention? Was it trying to, you know? So I was just asking lots of questions in my head. There was a time I even raised it and I said, "Oh, baby, try to be strong." I could remember your reaction. That
Oh, really? I can't remember.
really, but later on, I came to that reality that no, I mean, some things, well, I don't know, I'm not a medical person, but maybe I think they call it hormonal changes, right?
Yeah, hormonal changes.
Yeah, some things have changed and we have to also change alongside.
When the symptoms started, that was when, you know, I was launched into a new phase, another phase. So at that point, it dawned on me that I wouldn't be able to handle some of the things I was handling, like, events, anchoring of events, and all of that. It just dawned on me that I wouldn't be able to do anything. Before then, I would have sworn that I could go for job interviews, I could host my events, I could do anything I wanted to do. But when it held me, oh my gosh. Unfortunately, I'm not sure I took any picture there. You needed to see me. I lost weight. Eating was a problem. Had issues eating. Everything was. Now, for me to eat anything, I have to have the inspiration, the desire for that thing. If I do not have the desire for that thing, it's not going to make sense. So many things really, I was just there. I was knocked out. I mean, there were days I cried. I had to call my doctor. I called him my daddy doctor. I had to call him, Dr. Odi. I was like, what's happening? Like, I don't understand. Is this what pregnancy is? Is this how it is? How come nobody told me? I mean, I wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't ready. I told you. I wanted to build my career, but somehow God said it was time. So basically, that was it for me. At some point, I called my mom. I complained. I told her. I was like, Mom, nobody told me this. Nobody told me this was going to happen to me. And you know, basically, I would say that some of the things that happened to me then was, number one, I had to turn down jobs. I didn't turn them down, you know, directly. I just found a way around them. I found a way to turn down some of these jobs. Not even some, all of them. I had to just deal with myself first. I had to recover first. I had to feel good first. And then at a point, my husband had to, intervene. Like he said earlier, he was like, he can't keep me alone at home because somehow I needed to eat. I needed to take care of myself. I needed to probably take care of the house. I needed to do so many things, and I couldn't even take care of myself. I couldn't even eat. I couldn't even cook. So my younger sister had to come around. Being a nurse, she was able to take care of me, during that period. And that was how that period went. So basically we weren't expecting it, but God gave it to us and we're happy. Eventually when it dawned on us that this was God's gift, when it dawned on us that that happened, we had just had to move on from there, and we started preparing for our baby. So I would say we had, apart from the fact that I was ill for like 5 months, yes, maybe not up to 5 months, but 1 month was already gone, but the remaining about 4 months more, that's basically by the time I was 5 months gone, that was when I fully recovered, and I became strong, so much so that even when I was ready to be delivered of my baby, people didn't even expect it at that time, because number one, I didn't have a very big bump, and not only that, I was strong. Even my mother-in-law was around before I was delivered of my baby, so she was just like, "Shamo, it's a big time, sha," because I was strong. I was dancing. Oh my gosh, you need to see, baby. We recorded a particular dance. Is it still on your phone?
Yeah, I will check. I don't really delete things from my phone like that.
Okay, if it's on your phone, it should be there. But if it's on my phone, I don't trust myself. I may have deleted it. I delete things a lot. So, I mean, if I still have the video, I'm probably going to show you with my bump. I was dancing, digging it, and all of that. So, basically, that's it for me. And it was an interesting journey, apart from the fact that I had help. I had people to help. My husband was also supportive. That made the journey really... that made the journey really, really, really good. There are so many other things. I mean, at a point, I had to be on bed rest because of some medical challenges and all of that. But, we thank God. I think it's important I mention one thing. And that's why we didn't choose that hospital. I went to a particular hospital. I was ill, so I went with my husband. And then the doctor asked all questions except, when was your last menstrual period? And then he didn't ask that question. He asked every other question, and then the next thing he said I should go for malaria test. I went for the malaria test, and when we came back, when the result was returned, the result will be transmitted to the doctor, and then he reviewed it, and then he said, oh, the malaria, whatever the load or whatever it is, that was low, that it wasn't supposed to bring me down that much. We're just like, anyway, okay. And then he gave me malaria drugs, and I noticed that after taking those malaria drugs, I became really weak. It felt like I became sick again. But then eventually, when we were told that we were 5 weeks gone, we had to calculate it again, and then we discovered that there is a possibility, not even a possibility, we're actually pregnant at that point, when the doctor treated me for malaria after saying with his own mouth that what he saw, is it the strain he saw or whatever, was too little, was almost nothing, it wasn't enough for me to be down with malaria, and somehow I felt it contributed to the issue I had, and the fact that I had to be on bed rest and all of that. But apart from that, and then the fact that the first and second trimester really got me weak, I think every other thing went very well, and I had a great time, expecting my baby, our baby. Baby, what about you? Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, really, it was an interesting experience, and what I'd just like to add is that for expectant daddies, you have a role to play. You have to be able to analyze and interpret situations. For instance, I remember telling my wife that we are not using this particular hospital. I remember one of their doctors called me to appeal to me to allow my wife to deliver in that particular
Yeah,
hospital.
because later when I was confirmed pregnant, I had to mention it, and then he had to, the doctor checked my file, and he was like, oh, he even apologized on behalf of the other doctor who didn't ask that very important question.
So you have to really analyze situations. You have to pick those little signs, because the safety of your wife, the safety of the baby is very important, and that should not be compromised for anything. And what I also like to add is this: the preparation for the delivery starts from the moment you discover, even before then, discover that you are pregnant, because um, you have to really interact with your doctor. I remember then in Laguna Hospital, I interacted with the doctors to know some of the things to expect. In fact, I was preparing for all conditions. Financially, you have to be prepared. Spiritually, you have to be prepared. Emotionally, you have to be prepared. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the much we have for you on this episode, but don't worry. On subsequent episodes, we'll talk about a lot of things. I mean, no holds barred. I'm going to tell you everything and anything you need to know. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'd like to know what your thoughts are about the motherhood vlog. Not only that, I'd also like to know what your experiences are, or what your experiences were, depending on what stage you are in right now. So tell me, how did you feel when you got to know you were pregnant, and were you expecting, like, were you trying? How did it go? How did you react? How did your spouse react? I'd like to know all of that. I mean, I've told you mine, haven't I? Thank you one more time for watching. To have a great time, and we'll see you some other time on the motherhood vlog. I am Perpetua Fasanmi-Peter, and that's my husband. Your name?
Okay, Peter.
His name is Peter. That's his middle name. So I just combined his surname and his middle name. So that makes my surname. To have a wonderful time. Bye for now.